Our CES 2019 coverage is made possible by SuperO, Republic of Gamers, Arosi, EK, and Patriot. Hey everyone, I'm Andy Raffel from eTeknix.com. Now, you all know that I use an ASUS ROG Zephyrus laptop, and I thought it was basically the best thing since sliced bread. Until I went to CES 2019 and stopped by the ASUS suite at the Trump Hotel, and I laid my eyes on what they're calling the Mothership, which is probably the coolest name ever to appear on a laptop. Now, essentially what the Mothership is, or the GZ700 if you want to go with a model name, is a reinvention, a reimagination of the laptop. We can no longer call it a laptop because this would never fit on your lap. It would just be way too heavy and way too hot. Just imagine taking a desktop replacement and just changing absolutely everything about it. And that's what ASUS have basically done. So let's talk through a few of the specs to start with. Firstly, this laptop comes in at 410mm wide by 320mm deep and a whopping 290mm high, and weighs in at a stonking 4.7 kilograms. So now you can see exactly why I said it's no longer a laptop. Now, essentially with a laptop, you'd expect it to have two portions to it. You'd have the kind of main component side of it with your GPU and CPU, and then you'd have the monitor side. Well, what ASUS have actually done is they've incorporated that all into one part. So when you actually open up the design, it's actually the keyboard opening up from the rest of the desktop replacement itself. Now, to actually open it up, all you have to do is take the laptop, or desktop replacement, should I say, and push down on it. It has two little buttons underneath, which essentially form a kickstand to come out of the back of the laptop. Once you do that, you can then open it up, of which the keyboard comes down, and simply detach the keyboard. Once this is done, you can fold the keyboard over and sit it right in front of the desktop replacement. A very cool and kind of unique design, I'm sure you agree with me, and something that I wasn't really buying at first, but once I did it a few times and kind of actually looked at the overall design, it looked pretty outstanding. It kind of looked reminiscent of an AIO with a wireless keyboard, which is, I guess, the way that the market's kind of going with trying to get extreme amounts of performance and power into something that is still classed as relatively small form factor. Specs wise is where it goes just that little bit further. This is no longer your conventional desktop replacement, laptop or notebook or any other way that you want to explain this. So what we have is an 8th gen i9 8950HK processor, and instead of a Max-Q design or a Max-P design graphics card, we actually have a full-fat RTX 2080 desktop GPU, and yes, it is overclocked as well. This sports 8GB of GDDR6, which is going to be more than enough for even the most extreme gamers. Now, memory-wise, there's going to be different SKUs in various countries, but you're going to be able to get up to 64GB of DDR4 2666. There's also support for up to 3 512GB NVMe SSDs with full RAID 0 support as well for those blistering fast speeds. Now, a gaming desktop replacement wouldn't be one without a decent screen. So we have a 17.3 inch 1080p 144Hz G-Sync display with a 100% sRGB rating. In terms of connectivity, for those maybe a little bit afraid of lag and stuff like that, they've got you covered there as well. We have full Intel 802.11ax gigabit Wi-Fi support with Bluetooth 5.0. Now, as I said earlier, the way that this kind of desktop replacement works is quite cool in terms of the keyboard. So the keyboard is fully detachable. It has backlit chiclet keys, and each key is per key RGB. And of course, being an ASUS laptop, it is Aura Sync compatible. Now, in terms of connecting everything to your laptop, you'd be pleased to know there's plenty of ports to cater for everyone. Starting with the power, it actually has two power connectors, which run into the 280 watt power adapter. There's a HDMI 2.0 port, USB 3.1 Gen 1 Type A port, USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type C port, and an SD card reader. On the other side of the laptop, there's a USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type C/Thunderbolt 3 port, 3 more USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type A ports, 3.5mm microphone and headphone jacks, an RJ45 connector, and a Kensington lock. In terms of the styling on this laptop, it looks like something I've never seen before. I'll be honest, I'm not normally a fan of gold. There's been plenty of products that I've reviewed in the past and I've been a bit critical about gold colouring, but the black and gold on this just seems to work. I mean, I love the design and just general premise of this laptop so much, we actually awarded it the eTeknix Best of CES 2019 award, which is a pretty rare thing to get because we don't actually give out many of them. But there was one killer on this, and I hope you're sitting down because this is a big one. There's no word on availability just at this moment, but pricing has been floated around, shall we say. $5,000. I mean, that's not cheap. So I'm actually planning to get one of these in. And I was thinking, yes, I could review it, but what would be the better way of looking at it? So what I'm essentially going to try and do is build the desktop equivalent. And I'm going to see how much it would actually cost to build that desktop equivalent and then test them both against each other to see exactly how they'd perform. I think it might be a nice novel way of testing the Mothership desktop replacement. Let me know in the comments section below what you think about this because, I mean, it's absolutely crazy and it's a crazy price, but I can see why someone would want it. Personally, for me on the go, I would really like this because for video editing, especially in 4K, this would come in really handy. Maybe I'm going to have to, you know, hang up the boots of my ROG Zephyrus and go for a Mothership instead. I just need to find $5,000 first. Let me know in the comment section below if you would go out and buy this or, you know, I mean, if you had the money, or do you think it's complete overkill? I'd really like to know. Other than that, be sure to check out the rest of our CES 2019 coverage and I'll see you in the next video. See you later. Bye-bye.